Good morning everyone, how are you today? I hope you're doing well. It may look like I am in the middle of nowhere, and that would be true. I am in the middle of nowhere, but this particular park is in the middle of one of the world's most well-known cities, home of 9 million people, apparently, according to my Google search on the train this morning. I am, of course, in London town. I am here to study, which means I don't get a lot of time to sightsee. So I've actually just found out that my studies today finish early. My train home isn't until 6:30 p.m. tonight, and I finished slightly early, so I've actually got 4 whole hours to kill. So that got me thinking, what can I do with 4 hours in London? So I figured I would try and see as many landmarks, well-known spots of London as I could in that 4 hours. But London, of course, really good public transport. You've got the tube, you've got buses, you've even got river boats that you can take to get to where you need to go. So I'm gonna make it hard for myself, you know? I'm gonna use a mode of transport that I don't use very often. The legs, which means I can walk, I can cycle if I want to, I could run. I'm not gonna run. I can just use my body to get myself to as many London landmarks as I can in an afternoon. I'm gonna be starting from St. Mellitus College, which is in Kensington, and my plan is to get around about 10 or 15 London landmarks. Let's see how I get on. Wish me luck. Right now I'm going to study, but then as soon as I finish, the clock is ticking. It's just turned 1:30, so that means my time starts now. First landmark I've come across is the big and beautiful Natural History Museum. 4 million visitors a year, according to the placard that I read over there. They have many exhibits inside those doors, including an actual skeleton of a real T-Rex. I want to go and say hello. There used to be a T-Rex there, but it's gone. There is a whale up there and a couple of dinosaur exhibits over there. It's completely free to come in here. They do ask for a donation, but this is a must. If you're a museums person, you will love this. Anyway, clock is ticking. I gotta get going. I might need a bit of help from our Prime Minister Boris and his famous bikes. All over London, there are bikes that you can use. You pay £2, I think it is, to release the bike for 24 hours, and then you get unlimited use for the whole 24-hour period. I might just grab a bike, which could be interesting. I've made my way to location number 2, one of the most beautiful concert halls in the world, and check out how beautiful it really is. Yeah, it looks like the Royal Albert Hall is having some work done at the moment. Apparently it hosts over 300 concerts a year. I'll show you it from the front because it is a really beautiful building. It's such a better way to get around London than on the tube. One of the things to remember with the Boris bikes though is you get 24 hours use for £2, but after half hour you have to like dock it. So if you want to do a long cycle ride, when 30 minutes goes by you have to stop, find a station and change bikes. If you want to do some sightseeing and you ain't got very long and you want to get from place to place and have fun at the same time, Boris bike is the way forward. Thank you, Boris. I have actually come across location number 3 on my journey, which is Hyde Park, and more specifically, the Serpentine. Your Majesty, pop the kettle on. I'm on the way over for a cuppa. So I was going to cycle all the way to Buckingham Palace, which is just up there, but I realised I only had 2 minutes left on my bike, so I docked it here, and I'm just going to walk the rest of the way to the palace. That was honestly so fun. What a great idea. And a great way to get people fit as well. New Year's resolution has to be to get fitter because this is ridiculous. Buckingham Palace, home of the royal family, home of Her Majesty the Queen, who is at home because the flag is flying, so she is in. I am reliably informed via Google that the palace has 700 175 rooms, including a cinema. I personally would say the Palace is my favourite London landmark. So well known. I remember watching newsreel footage from the war where they appeared on the balcony there with Churchill. So it's a very iconic place to come and visit. And if you're in London and you haven't got very long and you need to choose just one or two locations to come and see, make sure this is one of them. Next up on the list is this road that I'm actually on right now, which I'll just show you. The Mall is exactly half a mile long. It stretches between Buckingham Palace, which you can just see from my shoulder there, and Admiralty Arch. At this end, just beyond Admiralty Arch, is Trafalgar Square. Admiralty Arch, much like the Royal Albert Hall, covered in scaffolding and building work. Nobody on earth knows how to ruin a beautiful bit of architecture with scaffolding like the Brits do. So I'm here on Trafalgar Square, once again, scaffolding and workmen. There's Nelson, top is Column, got some fountains here as well. It is a beautiful spot, very well known, of course, for being the place where people come to protest in London about anything and everything. And this is actually really close to the Mall. I literally came off the Mall, walked through that archway, and I was here. A visit to London is not complete without a visit to Trafalgar Square and to Nelson. So I've just come off Trafalgar Square. I would say I'm about halfway along the route I had planned in my head, but I'm getting a bit thirsty, getting a bit tired, so going to Spoons. So I've dropped into a Wetherspoons, which if you're from overseas is one of the finest eateries we have in the UK. Grab myself half a pint and then I'll be on my way again for the final push. I am all fueled up after that pit stop, and most importantly, so is my mobile phone battery, so I can carry on filming. Next up, 10 Downing Street, which is just around the corner here. Hoping for a meeting with the Prime Minister if he's around. Yeah, that was as close as I could get. There's not a lot good to see there, to be honest. Much like the Tory government, I suppose. Very important historical building in our history. In recent times, Wills and Kate got married in here. The Queen Mother's funeral was here. Diana's funeral was in here as well, and the Queen was crowned in that building as well. So very historical. Really worth coming to see if you get the opportunity to come and see it. I'm getting pretty tired now. I've been on the go for quite some time. As Joe Tribbiani might say, I'm feeling Westminster crabby. You guys, the weather has turned. It's getting pretty cold, which for those of you watching from overseas is very unusual for the UK. Normally this time of year, January, February, you'd be walking along with vest, shorts, t-shirt, that kind of thing. So you've got Houses of Parliament on that side, and the River Thames on this side, and the London Eye. It's just started to rain, but the rain didn't stop us, did it? We're British, don't you know? So I shall just pop up my hood, pop up the hood, keep calm, just carry on. The London Eye, also known by some as the Millennium Wheel. It was opened at the turn of the century, so 1st of January 2000 was the first day of business for paying customers. It is still to this day, 20 years on, the most popular tourist attraction for paying customers in the UK. I've never actually been on it, but apparently it offers 360-degree views of the city, so can't be bad, can it? Having come from Kensington all the way up to Hyde Park, through Hyde Park to Buckingham Palace, then along to the River Thames. I now got an easy job. I just got to follow the River Thames all the way up to Tower Bridge, and along the way I anticipate that I'm going to see around 4, 5, 6 maybe other famous attractions in London. If you're a student here, you don't have a lot of time, you've got a little break from studies, or maybe you're staying here for a couple of hours until your flight or your train. Get out and explore London, because it can be done. It is a big city. Like I say, 9 million people live here, but it's all very accessible and it's all very walkable as well. Millennium Bridge, which is just here. Famous in my eyes for being the bridge that the new apprentice candidates walk across at the start of every series. St Paul's Cathedral, which is right there, is actually incredibly historical and well known as well. Magnificent cathedral. If you get the opportunity to go in, I highly recommend it. Famous for being the location of the funerals of both Winston Churchill and Margaret Thatcher, from what I can remember. So that's over there. I'm not going to go over because it is on the other side of the river, but I've seen it, so you know it counts. And I'm going to count the Millennium Bridge as one as well because, you know, the apprentice didn't have anything to say about the Oxo Tower because I've got no idea what it's for. Is it something to do with Oxo cubes? I really genuinely don't know. So if you know, why not let me know in the comments below, because I want to learn something new about London. Oxo Tower, what's it for? Don't know. I may not have known what the Oxo Tower was, but I know that this building right here is the Globe Theatre. In modern times it's known as Shakespeare's Globe, and the reason for that is the original Globe Theatre was destroyed, and this is the reconstruction that they opened in 1997, but apparently it's fairly accurate to the original. Shakespeare's biggest hits, does that make it sound like he's a pop star? His biggest plays were written to actually be performed right here, not here. This is some kind of tour operators, but there in the Globe Theatre. So yeah, really cool to see that. Oh, there's a party of school kids coming. I'm actually going to crack on and get ahead of them before they ruin my video. There is 11,000 panes of glass. It's the tallest building in Western Europe, and when they were building it, they found a fox at the top. It's of course the Shard, one of London's newest attractions, I would say. It was opened in 2013. More of a recent addition to the London skyline, but incredible to look at, and I must say from experience, I've been up to the top. The views from the top are incredible. The afternoon tea is also worth your time if you get the opportunity to go up. On we go. Almost at the end now, folks. There it is, folks, Tower Bridge, the most beautiful and probably the most famous bridge in the world. That is at the end of my journey. And in fact, if you look at the shot there, I've actually got two landmarks in shot. You've got Tower Bridge on this side, Tower of London on that side. I've never walked across Tower Bridge. Today is the day, and partly out of necessity because my tube stop's actually on the other side. So as I come to the end of Tower Bridge, it's been a real pleasure showing you around London. My journey is almost at an end. We have seen a number of sights, some of the best, including the Shard and Tower Bridge. I get to come to London once a week, so I'm here once a week to study, and I just love it. There's no city in the world like it. I've done London for you in around 3 hours time, but I've got to say, if you've got the chance and if you've got the time, spend more than 3 hours here, spend a weekend here, spend a week here. There's so much to see, so much to do. And what I wanted to do is really just show you that if you want to see it in a short amount of time, it can be done. But I am now coming off the bridge and going down to my final stop. I almost fell right flat on my face in the Tower of London. That kind of behaviour will get you sent to the tower. Here it is, folks, Tower of London, home of the Beefeaters, home of the Queen's crown jewels, and home of the Ravens, the birds that just won't leave. Little bit of history for you, a fun fact. The last prisoners to have ever been kept at Her Majesty's pleasure in the Tower of London were the Cray twins, the famous gangsters. But of course, it wouldn't be a famous London landmark without a construction site right outside. Typical. That, folks, is the end of our odyssey across London together. Proof that you can do the main sights and sounds of London in 3 hours or 4 hours if you need to. It can be done, but like I say, if you've got the opportunity, explore for longer because it is such an incredible city. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we will see you in our next video. Take care. Now time for the train.